what matters most is that now we got to get out there and talk about what we're going to fight for, what Democrats are going to fight for, that we're really going to be out there to fight for working people across this country. And I just think that's what we've got to keep hammering on. We've got to make it happen because people are counting on us.
Welcome back to Harvard. That was Massachusetts Senator Elizabeth Warren, of course, on Hardball this week, stressing the need for resistance against President Trump. But the Democratic Party took a blow yesterday when House Republicans passed Trump Care, though Democrats now have something to fight for, of course. Slate's Jeremy Stahl argues that the party is rudderless right now. That's the Democrats. He wrote the party was essentially allowed to play possum by Democratic leaders like Warren, who were still cheering the defeat of the first effort rather than realizing a new opposition needed to be activated. Well, as Democrats work on presenting a united front ahead of the 2018 primaries, they've sent 2016 contender Bernie Sanders out with DNC Chair Tom Perez to shore up enthusiasm for the party around the country. But it's a party that Sanders insists is not even, well, he's not even a part of. Let's watch him.
Do you consider yourself a Democrat?
No, I'm an independent, and I think if the Democratic Party is going to succeed, and I want to see it succeed, it's going to have to open its doors to independents who are there are probably more independents in this country than either Democrats or Republicans.
I'm joined right now by the Hardball Roundtable, Ginger Gibson of Reuters, Daily Beast columnist Michael Tomasky, and Republican strategist Gianno Caldwell. Well, you're going to be last here, Gianno, because you're not in this situation. Neither is Bernie, actually, technically. What do you, Ginger, first question. Who would you put on television, prime time, 9 o'clock East Coast time, against President Trump to make the best case for the Democratic Party right now?
Amy Klobuchar or Kristen Gillibrand. They are both strong, they know the issues, and they will provide a real juxtaposition. They're consistent liberals with a track record who can talk about what's actually happening in Washington. They were names that have been floated as candidates before, and I think that they're the exact kind of people that...
They're both running for president, by the way.
But they are.
We know that.
Right. And could do the job.
Kristen Gillibrand, the senator from New York, and of course Amy Klobuchar of Minnesota.
Yes, I think they're both strong.
That's a pretty good answer.
Yeah. Okay.
What's your answer? Put them on TV against each other.
Yeah. Well, for the best hour of TV, Bernie. Now, you know, the asterisk, he's not a Democrat. So if you want to limit it to Democrats, maybe Elizabeth Warren. I'd like to see her and Trump go toe-to-toe. My little
Who would win?
Yeah, well, you know.
You know how he scored. They ask who won, and you get a vote, and it does work.
Well, of course, I think Warren would win. But here's my dark horse candidate for a great hour of TV with Donald Trump, Al Franken.
Yeah, how did I know that was coming? I was about a half a second ahead of you because he knows TV, and he's funny.
Yes.
And he could cut him up.
He would.
And he wouldn't be afraid of him.
He wouldn't be afraid
anyway.
at all.
You know, you guys keep mentioning... and this,
Mr. Republican, sir,
Mr. Republican
what do you think
strategy.
The other party would be the strongest opponent against your president?
What's particularly interesting, and going back to that Bernie Sanders point, Simone D. Sanders kept telling me he's a Democratic strategist, a Democratic socialist, and she, of course, was his press secretary during the campaign. I would say the silver bullet would be Michelle Obama. Remember when she would go after Trump, everybody cheered. Trump never went after her on Twitter, never really went after her on Twitter. And the points were always strong. Republicans and Democrats all agreed that Michelle Obama was a very powerful tool for the Democratic
Party. I think that may draw the biggest the biggest audience for them.
Absolutely.
Second question. Project now. Maybe you have the same answers. Well, here we are, May of 17. May of 2020, when you're looking into the summer before the election, who's the best candidate as you look ahead? You got to go with age issues here at some point.
Some of the names that everyone's floating, but I'm going to offer a dark horse. A governor elected in the next year and a half between now and 2018 midterms, right? You can come out with a lot of force. Democrats are going to have to be focusing on these races, winning back state houses. And, you know, we saw it with Republicans in 12, looking at young
I think
faces.
that's smart. So you mean somebody in their 40s, probably?
Probably someone in their 40s, maybe their early 50s, maybe with a business career, maybe who's well-known in a state and is going to run.
Bench.
Hot off the bench.
That's
Fill the bench up.
I've heard that theory too. You don't want somebody with a track record with a lot of numbers on their back there, but you don't want a guy with a lot of targets on their back.
On paper, the best-looking candidate to me right now is Sherrod Brown. From Ohio.
You know who I was pushing last time for VP the whole time.
Yes,
Didn't do me any good.
I know, but here he is. He's got genuine working-class populist.
Talks like a working guy.
Yeah, he talks like a working guy. He wears those Ohio suits. Exactly the places.
What is an Ohio suit? I've heard of the full Cleveland, but what's an Ohio suit? A full Cleveland is a white belt with white shoes, but that's the old thing.
Just whatever suit Sherrod Brown is wearing, that's an Ohio suit, I guess. But not exactly what the Democrats lost.
He looks like one, even though he went to Yale.
He gets those voters back.
And you know what? That's
Gianno.
what's interesting to me. Being a millennial, the only millennial on this panel, I must say, the Democrats, especially young millennials, still like Bernie Sanders.
Yeah.
I know he's not a fresh new name, but he definitely has the enthusiasm of the Democratic voters. And even some of those folks that may stop liking Trump, those Trump voters, because as you know...
Who would Trump pay or pray for as his opponent in 2020 if he runs again?
Well, you know what?
I'm asking you from the Republican side.
Who would...
Wouldn't he want him?
You know what's interesting to me?
Right.
Hillary Clinton seems like she's trying to stay in the game, and I don't see why. And she's trying to go further to the left with this new political action committee.
She's with the resistance.
And it's right, the resistance, but it's a progressive. They're going to give to progressive groups. So I think that's where he may think, because she's easily beatable at this point. I think she'll continue to be.
Oh my God! You know, Adlai Stevenson ran 3 times. William Jennings Bryan ran 3 times. I don't know. I think Democrats shoot their wounded. I'm not sure. I don't think they're big on keeping them back. Republicans run Bob Dole again and again. Jack Kemp.